Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. The former unified champion and current lineal champion Tyson Fury, he's responded to his critics saying he's in it to win it against WBC champion Deontay Wilder when they do meet later this year in the United States, wherever that may be. The Gypsy Kings also downplayed Wilder's power, saying he hits like any other heavyweight. He hits hard, but he's nothing special. I'll get straight to the clip from Fury's social media and follow up with some thoughts.
Quick video. I keep hearing and seeing a lot of stuff by a lot of people saying that Wilder's got the murder power and he's got this knockout power and I'm taking this fight for a few quid and all this sort of stuff. No, I can confirm right here, right now, none of it's true. Deontay Wilder has enormous power, but so does all heavyweights. Klitschko hit really hard, it didn't affect me. As for cashing out on a fight, a few more million to me ain't going to make or break me. Let me tell you that, boys and girls. I wouldn't lose a fight for 100 million. Never mind a few million, what I'm going to get for Wilder. It's not about money for me, because there's plenty of people out there with money. But for me, it's about boxing and winning the final belt that I didn't win before. After boxing, what is left? No boxing, no life. That's what Canelo's hat said. And I think it's very, very true. Very true. I'm in it to win it.
Okay, general comment first. The fact Fury has come out to address the stuff that is swirling around online and on social media regarding him looking to cash out against Wilder, that's clearly gotten to him. If it hadn't of, he wouldn't be out proactively dismissing it in this video. So clearly the comments, they have been weighing on him to some extent. Otherwise, well, what was the point of doing the video? And given there's been 2.5 years out, he's faced a faded cruiserweight and a faded former contender in his first 2 comeback fights, it's actually easy to see how the narrative of a cash out has actually grown some legs. But to personally address it, aside from the confines of an interview where he could be asked about that and legitimately respond and address that question, it's interesting to say the least that he's actually come out in this manner to say, well, you know, come on guys, this isn't a cash out. I mean, does someone like a Deontay Wilder see this and think, actually, I can exploit this here, I can try to get under his skin if I press him on his motivation for taking this fight? Because, you know, potentially there's a little bit of a psychological edge or a psychological point that could be scored here, you could argue. But then again, these guys, what they've said in recent days and weeks, it wouldn't really feed into the whole best facing the best line that they have been pushing to help sell the narrative of this fight. So perhaps Deontay Wilder will be a bit careful in terms of questioning Fury's motivation. But in terms of it being a cash out, Fury absolutely says, no, it's not. And the underlying message, in it to win it, very good to hear from Fury. And I do believe him. I do truly believe that he thinks, even after just the 2 comeback fights against that low-level opposition of Sefer Seferi and Francesco Pianetta, he thinks he can and will be beating Deontay Wilder, and he can't understand why there is this sort of criticism of him, that there is this doubt of him, his abilities and what he can do. But, you know, all that time out, the couple of low-level opposition, it's totally understandable why there is some doubt. But Fury, he has proven people wrong before. He proved that with the Klitschko win. So obviously he is thinking, well, actually, I'm just going to go here and actually get this done. I mean, actually making it happen, though, and beating Wilder, a prime Wilder, it's a completely different story, a whole another matter. But he does appear, at least from the outside, to be motivated. He's switched on. He does look like he's getting in increasingly better shape and that he wants that work from Deontay Wilder. So it looks like he is going to come ready for this fight. And we also know, and something I covered off in a previous video, that Fury and Wilder, they are going to start their press tour in London on September 24th. That was confirmed by Frank Warren in an IFL TV interview. And that will be followed by similar events in Los Angeles and then New York, or the other way around, could be New York and then LA. I'm expecting Fury, at least for the first one, he's going to be cooking up some antics to help generate some headlines for the fight. I actually think, remember the Batman press that he did previously with Klitschko? Who knows what he's going to do for the Wilder one? Expect the unexpected. I would be surprised if it was, pretty genial and watered down. That's not Fury's style, so I'm expecting some fireworks at that first presser. But in terms of Fury's other statement, which he's downplaying Wilder's power, just like any other heavyweight, he hits hard. Fury's been hit hard by punches like Vladimir Klitschko before, etc. I'm not as convinced. I mean, from what Wilder's contemporaries are saying, he hits like a mule and possibly harder than any heavyweight in the game today, at least at the top level. I mean, there's always examples of guys who can hit very hard, but they're not necessarily always at the top of the division, and that could be for defensive flaws, or potentially they just land and they could knock someone out, but they can't always land it. I mean, plenty of examples of that through boxing history. And it's always hard to gauge power, but Deontay Wilder's got a proven knockout record. He's proven he can be extremely effective when he lands that right hand. And it's not always just knocking guys' spark out. Not necessarily just, concussive punching to the point where lights are out straight away. We saw before the Luis Ortiz fight, the Cuban, he was downplaying the power. We heard he had a granite chin, never been down, all that sort of stuff. But Wilder was able to connect, scramble his senses, and he hurt Ortiz. He had him down, I think it was 3 times in that fight. And it wasn't necessarily that he hurt him to the point where he's unconscious, but he landed that punch, that right hand, and it scrambled his senses, and it ultimately took Ortiz out. So he hits hard enough to at least put you off balance, and that can be the difference. Scramble your senses, knock out your equilibrium. And that can be the difference sometimes between getting taken out and not. It doesn't have to be one punch knocked out. It can be one punch hurt you bad enough to take you out. So Fury, he's going to tell himself anything he needs to mentally G himself up, mentally prepare himself for the fight. But he knows that Wilder hits hard, extremely hard. And he knows that he can't take too many flush shots from that right hand. And he'll be doing everything he can to avoid that. You're going to see classic Tyson Fury. He's going to be moving around like he's on a bicycle because he doesn't want to eat too much from Deontay Wilder. He's not just going to stand in front of him, trade and eat punches all night. That's not his style, and that's not going to be the game plan. That's just not what Tyson Fury does. But relatedly, Fury is boasting in another social media post that he's going to be the one knocking Wilder out, saying, "Coming to America like Hakeem at Bronze Bomber will feel the furious one. I'm 100% confident when I clip him, he will fall and not get up." At WBC Boxing, #and the new. Of all the possible results from a Fury and Wilder fight, a knockout, a Fury knockout, that might surprise me the most, even more than a draw. I'm not saying it can't happen, I'm just not expecting it. I think it's more likely that Fury either wins on points. I mean, certainly my money is on a points win if Fury is to win at all. Or the other result, the obvious result, is a Wilder knockout. And that's actually what I'm leaning towards at this stage. But just on the points win, I mean, you'd have to think part of Fury and his promoter Frank Warren's rationale for requesting neutral officials to judge the fight, that's got to be because they know that that is his best case scenario for a win, that the most likely avenue of winning is going to be on points. So having, neutral judges is going to help him. You can certainly interpret by coming out and saying that the judges have to be neutral, that that's the way that they're leaning. They think they're going to win on points and they want to ensure that they at least have a fair shake in that fight. But make no mistake about it, Deontay Wilder, he's got power, real power. We've seen it before. It's often described as the equalizer by fans. And not just Wilder fans, boxing fans in general. And Fury, he knows this. So I'm going to take the power comments with a pinch of salt. How about you? What do you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. That's boxing_squared. I'm out. They're complicit with the hype, the bluster, the bullshit. Yet there was no indication of really how good he was because the guys he were facing were trash. It's another stain on the WBA's reputation.